We're on air in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Good evening. Tonight, WBFR, Playhouse of the Air, and our sponsors present stories of suspense and mystery entitled Vintage Hitchcock. This evening's first tale begins with murder, and then things get really serious and the danger begins. It begins in a music hall, and the title is The 39 Steps. That's all I intend to tell you, and you have to figure out the rest for yourself.
Ladies and gentlemen, with your kind attention and permission, I now have the honor of presenting to you one of the most remarkable men of the world, Mr. Memory. Every day he commits an error, 50 new facts. 50, ladies and gentlemen, facts from history, geography, newspapers, and scientific books. Millions and millions of them. Test him, ladies and gentlemen. Test him. Ask him any question you like, and he will answer you fully and freely. Mr. Memory.
Oh, thank you.
A question, please. A question from anyone in the audience. Ladies first.
Who won the Derby in 1921?
Mr. Jack Jules Humorous with Steve Donahue up. Won by a length at odds 6-1. Second and third, Craig and Aaron and Lemonora. Am I right, sir?
Right.
Thank you very much. Question, please. Do not hesitate. Another question, please. Who is the last British heavyweight champion of the world?
Bob Fitzsimmons. He defeated Jim Corbett, heavyweight champion of America, at Cotton City, Nevada in October 1897. He was then 34 years of age. Am I right, sir?
Right.
How far is Winnipeg from Montreal?
Ah, gentleman from Canada. You're welcome, sir. Winnipeg, the third city of Canada and the capital of Manitoba. Distance from Montreal, 1,710 miles. Am I right, sir?
Quite right.
Gentlemen, please, you're not at home. For God's sake, play something.
Please, let me out of here!
Let the lady through! Stand back, please! Hold on my arm, miss. Get back there! Clear the aisles! This way, miss. You all right?
Yes, I think so. I had to get out of that theater, that's all.
A lot of people have that idea.
It wasn't the panic that frightened me. It was something else.
I'm afraid I don't understand.
I'm in terrible trouble. Will you help me?
What kind of trouble?
I can't tell you here. Can we go someplace and talk?
Well, my flat's nearby.
May I come home with you?
It's your funeral. Come on, there's a bus. Go in, miss.
Thank you.
Now, if I could find this light switch...
Oh no! Don't turn on the lights. It will be safer.
I'm afraid I don't understand.
Will you pull down the blinds, please?
Very well. This just puts me doubly in the dark. My name's Richard Hannay. Any objection to telling me yours?
No, it's Smith. Annabella Smith.
Smith. Really?
Is there anything wrong with it?
No, it's just an unusual name.
Do you want to know more about me? What do you think I do for a living?
Actress?
Not in the way you mean.
Oh, chorus.
Certainly not. I'm a freelance.
Oh, out for an adventure, eh?
That's right. Don't answer that telephone.
Why not?
Because I think it's for me. Please don't answer.
Say, what's this all about? You said you're in trouble?
You don't believe me, do you?
I believe you're slightly hysterical.
If I am, I have a good reason. I was the one who fired those shots in that theater tonight.
You? Why?
To create a diversion. There were two men there that wanted to kill me.
You should be more careful in choosing your gentleman friends.
You've got to believe me.
Why should anyone want to kill you?
You wouldn't understand.
Well, you're not making it easy for me. A beautiful, mysterious woman pursued by gunmen. Sounds like a spy story.
And that's exactly what it is. Only I prefer the word agent.
Agent? For what country?
Any country that pays me.
What is your country?
I have no country.
Oh, born in a balloon! I suppose you've come up here to dig up some great big state secret.
No, I'm here to save a secret, a very important secret for this country. Not because I love England, but because it'll pay better. The very brilliant agent of a certain foreign power is on the point of obtaining a secret vital to your air defense. I've tracked down two of the men to this music hall. Unfortunately, they recognize me, and that's why they're after me now.
You ever heard of a thing called persecution mania?
You don't believe me.
Frankly, I don't, Annabella.
Very well. If you will go look out that window, you will see two men standing across the street. I'd hope I'd shaken them off. Please look.
All right, I'll play your game a bit further.
Don't let them see you. Well,
By Jove, you're right. Two of them. They appear to be looking up here.
come away from that window, please. Do you believe me now?
I suppose I must.
I'm going to tell you something which is not very healthy to know, but now that they have followed me here, you're in it as much as I am.
So it seems.
Have you ever heard of the 39 Steps?
No, what's that, a pub?
Never mind. But this much you must know. What you're laughing at is true. These men are ruthless, and I'm the only person who can stop them. If they are not stopped, it's only a matter of days, perhaps hours before the secret is out of this country.
Why don't you phone the police?
Because they wouldn't believe me any more than you did. And if they did believe me, how long do you think it'd get them to get going? These men act quickly. You don't know how clever the chief is. Clever and merciless.
What's his name?
The chief goes by dozens of names. He can look like 100 people. But there's one thing he can't disguise. The top part of his little finger on his right hand is missing. If ever you should meet a man with no top joint there, well, be very careful, my friend.
Thanks. I'll make a note of it. Hey, you know what you need? A good night's rest.
Yes, I do.
You're welcome to my bed. I'll get a shakedown on the couch.
Are you sure you don't mind?
Sleeping on the couch? I've done it dozens of times. Now, is there anything I can get you?
Yes. Have you a map of Scotland?
A map of Scotland. Oh, I have an atlas over here somewhere. If only I could find... Oh, there it is. You going deer talking or just plain hiking?
There's a man in Scotland whom I must visit if anything is to be done.
Are the 39 steps in Scotland by any chance?
Perhaps I'll tell you tomorrow. Good night, Mr. Henne.
Good night, Annabella. Pleasant dreams. Annabella! Was that you? Annabella, open that door! Annabella, will you open that door? I'll have to break it down! Annabella, where are you?
Oh,
What's the matter?
they came through the window. One of them had a knife.
Annabella, you're bleeding. I'll call a doctor. It's dead.
You've got to stop those men. In a few days, they'll have the secret out of this country.
But how will I stop them?
Kinrich, Professor, Scotland.
Who's there? Who's this professor?
They'll get you like they did me.
Annabella!
Aberdeen Express, Edinburgh, Glasgow, Aberdeen, Cambridge, and Fort William. All aboard.
Excuse me, is this seat taken?
Not by us, it ain't. Sit down, young fellow.
Thank you.
Papers, magazines, chocolates, cigarettes.
I wonder what won the 2 o'clock at Windsor.
I don't know. Let's get a paper.
Paper, please. The Dispatch.
What one?
Bachelor Bond.
Good.
7 to 4 odds.
Not so good.
Hello, look at this. A woman murdered at West End Flat.
These dramas don't appeal to me.
A well-dressed woman about 25 found with a knife in her back.
So that-
Lieutenant Richard Hannay is missing. The police are hot on the trail and watching with careful eye all points of departure from London.
So that's what they were doing, eh?
Who?
Scotland Yard, those bobbies. I've seen them get on this train, asking plenty of questions that would do.
Look here, there's a picture of the Hannay chap.
Let's have a squint at him. Rough looking lot, ain't he?
Excuse me.
Say, young fellow, where are you going? Don't you like that scene?
I do, thank you, but I just remembered something.
In a bit of a hurry, wasn't he?
Excuse me, miss, but I have to do this.
Nothing in here, Chief, except a man dropping a bit.
And then we'll double back. I'm not accustomed to strange men barging into my compartment, let alone kissing me.
Oh, I assure you, miss, that I'm no stranger the most, and kissing you is my way of hiding, not introducing myself. But I'm afraid they might be back, and I might be compelled to do it again.
Really? Well, I'm not interested. Now, will you please go?
I can't.
What? Why not?
It isn't safe.
Listen to me. Are you going, or shall I have to call the conductor?
Oh, no, don't do that. I just want your help. You see, my name is Richard Hannay.
Hannay, why you're the man the police are looking for?
Yes, but I'm innocent, I swear. Listen, you've got to help me. It's terribly important that I be free for the next few days. You will help me, won't you?
Of course I will.
Oh, that's fine.
You say the police are on this train looking for you.
Yes, that's why I forced my way in here.
And just how am I supposed to help you?
Well, they're looking for a man traveling alone. So if I stay here with you, they'll think we're together and just pass us by.
How clever you are.
Oh, you'll do it?
Yes, of course.
Say, you're all right. What's your name?
I'm Pamela Stewart.
Pamela. That's rather pretty. It suits you.
Thank you.
Oh, there they are now. Remember, I'll sit here and pretend to read. You do the talking.
All right. Come in.
Excuse me, have either of you seen a man passing you the last few minutes? Young fellow, smooth shaven?
Why, no. Wait a minute, are you the police?
That's right, miss.
This is the man you want. He barged his way in here and told me his name is Richard Hannay.
Why?
Come here.
Let go of me.
Are you Richard Hannay?
Well, speak up.
Yes. Thank you very much, Miss Stewart.
Well, you didn't expect me to harbor a murderer, did you?
Well, I'm not a murderer, and I hoped that you might give me the chance to prove that.
We'll see about that. Come on, Hannay.
Oh, certainly, gentlemen. I'll go with you willingly. In fact, I'll lead the way. Gah!
Grab him.
Open that door.
He's holding it from the other side.
Here, let me try.
Together now. 1, 2, 3.
Where is he?
Where did he go?
There he is, down that passageway.
Come back here. Stop. Stop.
Have you got him?
He jumped. He jumped off the train.
Well, he's probably laying dead in a ditch.
No, the last I saw of him, he was on his 2 feet and running like a rabbit.
Escapes, paper, Hannay escapes, paper, extra special, Hannay escapes from the police, paper, extra, extra. Two days have passed, and Richard Hannay, wanted for murder he did not commit, is still at large. Determined to discover the secret of the 39 steps, he's made his way to Scotland, to the outskirts of the village Altnashalach. Yes, sir.
I'd like to see the master, please.
And what names they say, sir?
Oh, he wouldn't know my name. You might know if he knows, Miss Annabella Smith.
Yes, sir.
Oh, is that someone for me, George?
Oh, yes, Professor.
How do you do?
How do you do? My name is Hammond. I've come from London, from Miss Annabella Smith.
Oh, well, do come in, please. You must be tired. We can talk in the library.
Yes, of course.
Sit down while you have a drink.
No, thank you.
Well, now, what did you want to see me about, Mr. Hannay?
Hannay, you know me?
Yes, I suppose it's safe to call you by your right name now. Now, what about our mutual friend, Annabella?
She's been murdered.
Oh, I know, poor girl. The police are looking for you.
Yes, but I didn't do it.
Oh, of course you didn't. Why come all the way to Scotland to tell me about it?
Well, I believe she hoped to come see you about some air ministry secret. She was killed by a foreign agent who was trying to steal it.
Did she happen to tell you what this foreign agent looked like?
Only one thing. That the top of his little finger was missing.
On which hand, Mr. Hannay?
The left, I believe.
Are you sure it wasn't on the right?
Might have been.
Like on my hand, Mr. Hannay.
It's you! You're the one
The
she...
one she was trying to warn you against, the chief. You misunderstood her. She meant for you to kill me, not to bring me information. Oh, Mr. Hannay, why have you forced me into such a difficult position? I can't force you into a room or anything like that. There's my wife and daughters to think of. What makes it doubly important that I shouldn't let you go is that I'm just about to transfer some very vital information out of the country. But it seems we have some unfinished business to attend to.
And what's that?
I have a small revolver here. Pretty thing, isn't it? Suppose I left you alone with this, and tomorrow's newspapers could then announce that the Portland Place murderer had taken his own life.
You want me to kill myself? You're mad! I won't do it!
Then I'm afraid you've left me no alternative. You should have stayed in London, my friend. Oh, George.
Yes, Professor?
There's a little job for us inside. We'll carry Honey to the garage, and when it gets dark, we can drop him off the road somewhere.
Where is he, sir?
Behind that table.
Here, sir?
Yes, pick him up.
I'm sorry, sir, but there's no one here.
What?
You can see for yourself.
Why, I shot him. The body was lying right there on the floor.
The body, sir, seems to have disappeared.
What do you mean by standing in front of my car? You might have been killed.
Oh, sorry, lady. I just wanted a lift. Would you mind? Well, Miss Stewart. How do you do? If I remember correctly, you handed me over to the police, didn't you?
Oh, get away from me.
What are you doing in Al-Nashalak?
I live here.
Oh, it's a charming place, isn't it? Do you know where the local police station is?
Of course I do.
Well, take me there. And hurry.
Well, I suppose you know what you're doing.
Oh, yes. You see, I know who killed Miss Annabella Smith. The same man who shot me a few minutes ago. Right in the cigarette case, see? There's a hole in one side of it. And to think, only a week ago, I was trying to quit.
And just who was this arch-villain?
A gentleman called the Professor.
You don't mean Professor Bartlett. Do you actually mean you're going to the police with this story? That Professor Bartlett shot you? That he's the one who killed the woman you're accused of killing?
Of course. Why not?
Professor Bartlett, a murderer? Why, he's one of the best liked men in the village, and a very good friend of the sheriff's.
I see your point. It hadn't occurred to me that... Stop the car. I'm getting out.
Oh, no, you're not. You said you wanted to go to the police, and that's just where you're going. And if you touch me, I'll make a move to jump out. I'll turn this car into a ditch.
You haven't the nerve, of course.
Haven't I? Just try me.
Hang on! Ah, where are you? You all right?
Quite all right, thank you.
You little fool, why'd you swerve? We could have been killed. Hello there. Oh, there's someone coming. Keep down.
Let go of me. Hello over here, Richard Hannay.
Why you?
Grab that man!
All right, Honey, we've got you. Don't try any funny business.
Stand up.
Yes, of course.
Are you the police?
We've been looking for you.
Put the handcuffs on him. One on him and one on the girl.
Hey, what are you doing?
We're handcuffing you to your friend here.
Now see what you've done?
Listen, you can't do this. I don't even know this man.
Get in the car, the both of you.
Ow, my wrist. Officer, must I be chained to this man? Wait a minute. Where are you taking us? This isn't the way to the sheriff's office.
Oh, just don't worry yourself about where we're going.
It's the real head we're going to see, the chief.
You see, Pamela? They're taking us to your charming old friend, the Professor.
What are we stopping for?
There's a whole flock of sheep crossing the road.
Blow the horn. Maybe that'll scare them.
Oh, now's our chance. We'll make a run for it. When I say jump, jump and run for your life. Jump!
Look, they're getting away!
There they go. Give it to him.
They're shooting at us.
Come on, run for it!
Have we lost those men?
It's as black as pitch in this moor. They'll never find us now.
Where are we going?
Well, I see some lights over that way. We'll do a little investigating.
What kind of place do you think this is?
Well, I don't know. Looks like an inn. Now remember to back me up in everything I say or do. Do you understand?
Yes.
Good. Now stay close to me and hold my hand. It'll hide the handcuffs. Ah, good evening.
Good evening. Welcome to King's Head Tavern. And what can I do for you and the lady?
We had an accident with our car a few miles back.
That's too bad now. You want to stay the night, I suppose?
Yes, we do.
Will it be 2 separate rooms or 1?
2 separate rooms.
One room, please. One.
Well, which?
1, thank you.
1? And what's the name?
Hawkinson. Henry Hawkinson and Mrs. Hawkinson.
Well, come along, Mr. and Mrs. Hawkinson. The room is at the top of the landing.
Nice place you have here.
Thank you. Here's the room.
Thanks very much.
Well, good night to you.
Oh, wait, please. You mustn't go.
What's the matter? Is there anything wrong?
You see, we're a runaway couple.
Are you now?
Yes, as a matter of fact, we've been running all night. If anyone inquires for us, you won't give us up, will you?
Of course not. I was young myself once. Good night.
Good night. I am so sorry, Pamela.
Of all the outrageous things. Listen, you don't expect I'm going to spend the night in this room with you. I have a nail file in my pocket.
Ow! What are you up to now?
I'm trying to file the handcuffs.
Don't jab me in the wrist.
I'm sorry.
You don't mind if I stretch out on this chair, do you?
Not at all.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night. Listen, did you hear that? There's a car out there. It just drove up.
It's just your imagination.
It's early the following morning, and Richard Hannay stirs restlessly in the armchair, rubbing his sleepy eyes. Suddenly he jumps up from the chair, staring at his handcuffs now dangling from his wrist. Miss Stewart has freed herself and now sits across the room.
Good morning, Mr. Hawkinson.
How'd you get free?
Oh, very simple. A little work while you had your beauty sleep.
I suppose you filed the handcuffs?
No, I picked the lock.
Why didn't you leave? You were very anxious till last night, if I remember correctly.
Well, something happened last night that convinced me that you've been telling the truth. When I got free, I went downstairs. The car you said I imagined had belonged to our pursuers. They were sitting downstairs when I got there.
Did they see you?
No, I hid behind the counter. They asked the innkeeper about us.
What'd she say?
She said she hadn't seen us. They ordered something to eat, and when they were eating, they talked a lot about the 39 steps.
The 39 steps?
And don't ask me what it means, because I don't know. But they said the professor was clearing out of the country.
That he's got the secrets. Did they say how soon he was leaving?
No, but they did say he was going to London to pick up something at the music hall.
The 39 steps. The London Music Hall? Oh, it doesn't make any sense. What's wrong with these men in?
They left about 4 or 5 hours ago.
What? You let them go after hearing what they said? Ah, my dear girl, I'm accused of murder. And the only way I could clear my name was to expose those spies.
Then why don't you go to Scotland Yard?
What's the use? You said it yourself. They wouldn't believe me.
Then why don't I go to Scotland Yard?
Hey, why not? They believe you.
Of course they would.
Well, come on. We'll get the next train for London.
You wish to order now, sir?
No, thank you. I'm waiting for someone.
I beg your pardon, sir, but your face looks familiar. Are you someone famous?
Oh, no, I'm not. Bring me a bottle of ale, will you?
Very good.
Make that 2, please.
Yes, miss.
Oh, Pamela, sit down. What happened? Did you go to Scotland Yard?
Yes, and prepare yourself for a shock. They checked every possible channel, but the Air Ministry is positive that there are no papers missing that would have been of any possible interest to the spies.
That's incredible. What's that tune you're whistling?
Oh, that silly one of yours. I must have picked it up.
Wait a minute. Pamela, you're brilliant!
Me, what did I do?
That tune. Now I remember where I've heard it before. I know where we have to go.
Where?
Follow me.
Here you sit, sir. First chair on the aisle.
Oh, thank you. Sit down, Pamela.
This is silly. The show's almost over.
Be quiet. I'm just playing a hunch, that's all.
Ladies and gentlemen, with your kind permission and attention, I now have the honor of presenting to you one of the most remarkable men of the world, Mr. Memory.
Pamela, look in that box at the right of the stage. See that tall man sitting in front? It's the professor himself.
You've got to get out of here before they see you.
No, sit down. Listen.
Every day he commits
Pamela,
to memory.
I've got it. I've got it.
Got what?
Of course there are no papers missing. All the information stored inside Mr. Memory's head.
I still don't understand.
Oh, don't you see? The details of the Air Ministry secret were borrowed and memorized by this man, and then replaced before anyone could find out. That's why the professor is here, to take Mr. Memory outside of the country after the show.
Pardon me, sir, but there's some gentlemen that want to speak to you.
Who, me?
Are you Richard Hannay?
Well,
You're under arrest.
Wait, officer, look, there's something you ought to know.
Come along quietly.
But that man on stage, he's...
Don't cause any trouble and spoil people's entertainment.
Question, please. Do not hesitate.
Wait a minute. Mr. Memory, what are the 39 steps? Come on, speak up. What are the 39 steps?
The 39 Steps is an organization of spies collecting information on behalf of the Foreign Office.
It's that man up there in the box who shot him! Stop that man!
Stop that man! Stop him!
Keep your seats, please. There's no need for alarm. No cause for alarm. Is there a doctor in the house? Is there a doctor?
I want to see Mr. Memory, please. How is he?
Number 5, but you can't go in now.
I'm afraid we have to. Detective, have you a pencil and a piece of paper?
Yes.
Good. I want you to write down everything you hear. I'm going to prove to you that the man who shot Mr. Memory is the same who murdered the woman I'm accused of killing.
What is it?
I want to see Mr. Memory. How is he, Doctor?
Pretty bad. Did they get the man who shot him?
We got him all right.
What's this all about?
Mr. Memory, can you hear me?
Yes?
What was that secret formula you were taking abroad?
The first feature of the new engine is its greatly increased ratio of compression, represented by R minus over R to the power of gamma, where R represents the ratio of compression and gamma. Seen in end elevation, the axis of the two lines of cylinders. This device renders the engine completely silent.
Oh.
Am I right, sir?
Quite right, old chap.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I'm glad it's off my mind, at last.
This way, please. We can pick up the police car on the corner.
The police car? Where are you taking us?
To Scotland Yard, of course.
Scotland Yard!
But you can't do that. You heard what the man said. He didn't kill anybody.
Easy now, Lizzie. You'll be all right. All we want to do is put the story on record. Nothing to worry about. I'll be a free man an hour, Mrs. Hannah.
Mrs. Hannah? Oh, that'd be just fine, that would. We were together for 1 day, and we fought 24 hours.
20 hours. You were asleep for 4 hours.
Could you imagine what it would be like? Fight for breakfast, fight for lunch, fight for dinner. One long, drawn-out battle for the next 30 or 40 years.
Oh, 40 years. Do you think we could even keep it up that long? I mean, really?
I mean, we could try.
You will be relieved to hear that Pamela and Hannah's story ended happily. They did not get married. So, in the case of the 39 steps, crime does not pay. Not even on the radio. You must have a sponsor, and here's ours.
Have you been looking for a vacation spot that's tailor-made for good times? Experienced travelers prefer the
Bates Motel.
For its special personality, quiet dignity, and friendly charm. This new, completely remodeled motel offers accommodations with the latest improvements, including insulated walls, metal furniture, box springs, Venetian blinds, carpeted floors, free radios, and parked directly in front of the 12 guest rooms. Pleasantly air-conditioned in the summer and snugly heated in the winter. Each room features a private tiled bathroom and abundance of hot water. Nothing old-fashioned, but the hospitality that even a mother would say is second to none. The
Bates Motel.
is truly an experience you would treasure for the rest of your days. 12 rooms, 12 showers, you can wash your cares away.
Horrible murder! Avenger strikes again! Read all about it! Avenger strikes again!
Our next play is a sweet, homey little story of intrigue, suspicion, and murder. The play is entitled The Lodger and takes place in London in 1888. The newspapers scream of a killer going on the loose by the name of the Avenger, whose fifth victim has just been discovered. As our story begins, we meet Ellen Bunting and her husband, Robert, a couple with rooms to rent in their modest home in Whitechapel District. And now, The Lodger.
Robert, how about this Avenger person? You know, he could be the person standing next to you, or maybe the man you bump into. It's a terrible thought.
Yes, if only the police had something to go on. I guess the Avenger's just too quick for them.
But look here, it says the girl he got last night was like all the others. Pretty, blonde, and she had just come from the music hall. Exactly like the rest of his victims. And let's see, described by her friends as a very light-hearted girl. Oh, what a pity.
Ellen, did you ever stop to think who fits that to a T? In fact, fits all those girls' descriptions perfectly. Our own Daisy.
Oh, that's a pretty thought, Robert. Well, maybe it's a good thing that she's with her aunt instead of here. London isn't a safe place for any girl right now.
Just the same, I can't help thinking how fine it would be to have her here with us.
Well, there's no sense in even talking about it. We just can't afford it.
Oh, I know that, Ellen. I just hoped we could manage it in some way.
How? Haven't I screwed myself half crazy trying to keep us going? But you don't care about that, do you? No, your Daisy's more important to you than I am.
Now, Ellen, that don't sound like you.
Well, I can't help it if it don't. What are we going to do?
We'll get along, dear. Something will turn up.
We haven't had a lodger for months. Nobody even comes to look at the rooms anymore.
Things will work out, my love.
They ain't ever going to work out. Soon enough, we won't even have a roof over our heads. Oh, I'm sorry, Robert. I didn't mean to go on so.
Oh, I know you didn't, dear. It's all right.
I didn't think. It's just that I've been so worried.
Well, don't you go worrying another second, old girl. Why, first thing you know, you won't be pretty anymore. Your face will be all wrinkled.
Now see here.
Oh, come on. Let's see a smile. Just one smile.
Oh, let me alone. Well, who do you suppose that could be?
It's awful late for visitors.
Robert, do you think it should be somebody looking for a room?
Well, it might be.
Oh, I wish it were. Then you could have your Daisy back.
You want me to go to the door?
No, I'll go. You stay here.
Oh, all right. Well, be sure you get a good look at him before you let him in, dear.
Oh, I'm coming. Good evening, sir.
I saw your sign. It says you have a room to rent.
Yes, sir. Please, won't you come in?
Thank you.
It's a horrid night out there, isn't it? Coming down in sheets. May I take your cape, sir?
No, thank you. Now, I'm looking for a quiet room. It must be very quiet.
Oh, we have that, sir. Just that. Above all, our house is quiet.
Very well.
Your bag, sir. May I take it?
No, hold it!
Do you have any other bags?
Just the one. Now, if you'd be so good as to show me to the room, please.
Oh, yes, sir. It's right up these stairs. This way.
Thank you.
You see, sir, there's just my husband and me here, and we're ever so quiet. I'm sure you'll find this room to your liking, sir. Here we are. Now I'll just light the gas. There we are.
Very good. I think I like this room.
Yes, it is pleasant, isn't it? And there aren't many rooms with such pretty pictures, are there now? We've had them in the family for years, sir.
Pretty pictures interest me very little. But what does impress me about this room is the very simplicity of it. The bareness.
Yes, sir. It's not crowded at all, yes?
It would be quite suitable, Mrs.
Bunting, sir.
Mrs. Bunting. You see, I do a great deal of studying in my book here, the Holy Bible.
Yes, sir. And please let me help you with your bag.
No! Don't you touch it!
Well, I only wish to help.
Forgive me, Mrs. Bunting. It's just that I'm quite weary. I'm very tired. You see, I do a lot of studying.
Oh, yes, sir. Of course, sir.
He bringeth them to their desired haven. Beautiful words, Mrs. Bunting.
Indeed they are, sir.
And now, at last, I have found my haven of rest.
Yes, then you'll be taking the room.
Let us see now. What are you going to charge me? I shall be staying in most of the time. I shall be wanting meals.
Oh, we can see to that, sir.
Now, Mrs. Bunting, if I were to pay you 42 shillings a week for this room, would that be satisfactory?
Oh, why, yes, sir. That'll be quite all right.
Good. Then I shall pay you several weeks in advance. My name is Sleuth.
Mr. Sleuth?
Sleuth. Think of a hound, Mrs. Bunting, and you'll never forget my name. And here are your 42 shillings.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
And I think I shall enjoy a light supper now. Just bread and butter, perhaps, Mrs. Bunting. Could you arrange that?
Certainly, sir. And if you were requiring any beer or spirit...
Certainly not!
Oh, sir, what did I say?
I thought you understood me, Mrs. Bunting. And I had hoped that you and your husband were abstainers.
Oh, but we are, sir. We don't keep nothing about. I would have to go out and...
Oh, of course. I'm sorry, Mrs. Bunting. I don't wish you to think me rude. I know you've been so kind and considerate.
I know a gentleman when I see one.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Now, just hurry along and get your supper.
Stop that! Do you hear?
Oh, sir, what did I do?
You were humming that music.
Oh, but I always hum.
Music is an instrument of sin.
Oh, yes, sir.
And you did tell me, Mrs. Bunting, that your house would be absolutely quiet.
Oh, but it is, sir. I didn't mean any harm, believe me, sir.
I believe you, Mrs. Bunting. I'm sorry I spoke sharply. I know you've been so considerate and kind.
Oh, thank you, sir.
So we took the room at 42 shillings a week?
Yes, in advance.
You know, Ellen, it's wonderful. Do you realize what this means? We can have Daisy back.
Yes, I know. Here, Robert, warm that teapot and put some tea leaves in it.
Righto. We can have her back with us tomorrow. You know something, old girl? We're not going to worry too much about her falling prey to that Avenger fellow.
Whatever do you mean, Robert?
Well, she's not a girl who takes a drink, you know.
And what's that to do with it?
Oh, just something I read in the paper while you were upstairs with a gentleman. It turns out that every single one of the Avenger's victims had been drinking. They figure he must be some kind of rabid abstainer.
What's a peculiar chap?
What's that sound?
That's Mr. Sleuth. He has a limp and uses a cane.
Why is he pacing around like that?
Never mind that now. Hurry, Robert. Put the butter on the tray. Yes, now the tea. I suppose that's all in order. Open the door, Robert. I'll take it up to him right away.
There you go, old girl. First thing in the morning, I'm going to go fetch Daisy. Oh, it's a wonderful thing, Ellen, wonderful. Hurry up with this supper, old girl.
Oh, I mustn't do that.
Let not thy mind be drawn away in her ways, neither thou be deceived by her paths. For she hath cast down many wounded, and the strongest have been slain by her.
Mr. Sleuth?
Mrs. Bunting!
Oh!
You will please knock before entering in the future, Mrs. Bunting.
Oh, sir, your tray. I'll tidy it all up for you straight away and put another kettle on.
That won't be necessary. I've decided to go for a walk. It's a pleasant night for one.
Tonight? Well, very well, Mr. Sleuth. I'll have this all tidied up by the time we return.
Very well.
Oh, Mr. Sleuth, you've...
What is it?
Those pictures, those pretty girls, you've turned all their faces to the wall.
Yes, I've turned them to the wall because they're wicked and sinful.
Oh, but I've had them...
Don't you agree, Mrs. Bunting, that everything wicked and sinful should be purged from the earth?
Yes, I do.
I'm very glad to hear that, Mrs. Bunting. Now, if you'll excuse me, I must go. Good night, Mrs. Bunting.
Ellen rushed to the window to watch as Mr. Sleuth disappeared into the London fog. A restless night she had, convincing herself that at most Mr. Sleuth was just a trifle odd. But paying 42 shillings a week in advance, maybe he had a right to his strange ways. It was daylight when she was suddenly awakened by the shouting of the newsboys.
Horrible murder! Read all about it! Murder at King's Cross last night! Avenger strikes again!
Ellen was a little frightened to meet the lodger the next morning. But seeing as Robert had gone to meet Daisy and Mr. Sleuth was alone in his room, Ellen went in with more tea.
More tea, Mr. Sleuth?
Thank you, Mrs. Bunting. But I don't care for any more. You're very kind, but I must go and my work now, if you'll excuse me.
Her fear really changed to pity then. He seemed so helpless and tired, and he was so considerate. Around 10 in the morning, Mr. Sleuth left the house, and Ellen decided to go upstairs and have a look about his room. She had to find out what he carried in his one piece of luggage. It wasn't a bag. It was more like a case. Yes, a case. For a knife! Ellen rushed upstairs, her heart beating wildly at the thought she'd have the case. There wasn't anything in his closet. She went over to the chest of drawers against the wall. Nothing in the top one. In the next, there were just some socks and underclothes. The next one was empty. There was only one other place for a small, narrow case, the bottom drawer. And it was locked. Suddenly, she heard the front door open downstairs.
You're upstairs, Ellen.
Oh, good
Daisy's here.
Oh, good heavens.
Oh, Mother, it's so good to see you. It's so good to be home. Why, what's the matter, Mother?
Yes, you're quite right, Ellen.
Well, I'm all right. It's just I wasn't expecting you so soon.
It's good to be back, Mother. The country's all right, but there's nothing like London now, is there?
No, there isn't.
Well, as long as the Avengers fellows you're about, you're going to have to keep this young lady indoors. London or no London. And we're going to have to do something about those blonde locks.
Oh, don't worry about that. I'll dye them, maybe.
Oh, well, Daisy, I might as well get you settled.
You see, Father? What did I tell you? She'll have dust cloth in my hand before I even get my coat off.
Mr. Sleuth.
What are you all doing in my room?
Oh, we were just leaving, sir.
I require privacy, Mrs. Bunting. I thought I had made that clear.
You did, Mr. Sleuth, you did.
From now on, Mrs. Bunting, I shall keep my room locked.
Oh, but you see, sir, I was just tidying up a bit. And Mr. Bunting, he brought our daughter home. She just arrived. This is Daisy.
Pleased to meet you, sir.
She's been away for quite a long while, you see, Mr. Sleuth, and we've been all excited, you might say.
Yes.
And you were probably surprised to hear us laughing and carrying on.
Yes, I must say I was. But then again, there are different kinds of joy. Are there not, Daisy?
Yes, I'm sure there are.
Yes! There's the despicable, evil joy of the abandoned. And then there is the divine happiness and joy of the blessed. A vast difference, that. You understand that, don't you, Daisy?
Why, yes, Mr. Sleuth.
I certainly hope so, Daisy. Nowadays, there are so very few young women like yourself who do.
Why, Mr. Sleuth, you mean a girl's not to enjoy life at all?
Enjoyment and fun, my child, are the devil's breeding ground. All his implements are there. Pleasure and impropriety, the temptation of music and dancing.
There's nothing I like better than dancing, and I'm not...
You like to dance?
She doesn't know what she's saying, Mr. Sleuth. She's just a child. Daisy, you know you've never been one for dancing. You never learned how.
But I did learn, Mother, while I was away. What's so wrong about it? What's the harm in dancing?
It says she lies in wait as for prey and increases transgressions among men.
I don't know what you mean. I've never heard such poppycock...
Poppycock! You dare call the Holy Bible poppycock?
Daisy, go to the front room.
It's all right, Mrs. Bunting. It's all right. I'm quite used to that kind of talk. Good day, Mrs. Bunting.
He's a queer one, all right. But such a gentleman, too.
It's because of the rent Mr. Sleuth is paying that we're able to have you home, my Daisy.
Well, in that case, I suppose he's not so bad after all.
But he is.
What?
Ellen?
Daisy, I do not want you home alone with Mr. Sleuth. Will you promise me that, Daisy?
But why should I ever make such a promise?
What's come over you, Ellen?
Nothing. My nose, I suppose. Perhaps I'll go out for a while and get some air.
Ellen decided to go to the coroner's inquest they were having for the Avenger's latest victim, hoping to hear something that would clear her suspicions. A lady was testifying as Ellen took her seat. The witness had seen from the Avenger from a window, but her description of him didn't tally with Mr. Sleuth at all. Ellen was so relieved, until it was pointed out that the witness couldn't possibly have seen anyone that night because of the fog. The next witness was a Mr. Connett. Ellen leaned forward anxiously as I swore him in and began asking questions. You say, Mr. Conant, you are positive that you saw this man?
Positive, sir. It was only a few moments before the murder that I saw the Avenger.
Describe him.
Well, he wore a black cape and was very gaunt-looking. He walked with a bit of a limp and carried a cane. Oh, and he was carrying a small handbag.
A handbag?
Oh, yes, sir. A small, narrow handbag. Such one as might contain a knife.
Order, please. Silence in the court. Proceed, Mr. Conant.
Well, he seemed an educated man, I judge, but quite mad.
What do you mean by that?
Well, as he emerged from the fog, he was talking aloud to himself. Sounded as if he was reciting scriptures from the Bible.
There was no doubt about it now. Ellen was certain that Mr. Sleuth was the Avenger. She ran out of the courtroom as quickly as she could. When she was 3 streets from her home, she saw her husband, Robert. One thought hit her clearly. She realized Daisy must be home alone with the Avenger.
Robert!
What's it?
Robert, where's Daisy?
Why, she's at Madame Tussauds Wax Museum.
Whatever is she doing there?
The lodger, Mrs. Sleuth, invited her there.
What? Our lodger, he's the Avenger.
Whatever are you saying?
Listen, Robert, listen. Mr. Sleuth is the Avenger. I'm 100% certain of it.
Now let Daisy go with him.
Hurry, Robert, hurry. To Madame Tussauds. We've no time to spare.
Racing, Ellen and Robert ran through town and toward Madame Tussauds. They searched madly through the museum until there was only one place left to look. The Chamber of Horrors.
Look at this. It says here that these are the actual death maps of some of England's most notorious killers.
I'm afraid I find this section all a bit too ghoulish for my taste. Suppose we go back to see The Last Supper again?
Oh, come on now. Don't you like a nice fright every now and then?
Do I frighten you, Daisy?
Daisy! Daisy!
Daisy, where are you?
Why, that's Mother and Father. I'm in here.
Daisy!
Where is he?
Who, Mother?
Where's Mr. Sleuth?
Why, I'm not sure where he's gone. He was right there. Oh, Mr. Sleuth!
Stop! No, Daisy, he's the Avenger.
What?
Mr. Sleuth is the Avenger.
Over the weeks that followed, the Avenger murder seemed to stop, and the Buntings never saw Mr. Sleuth again. Each night, as she prepared for bed, Ellen found herself haunted by the thought of him.
Ready for bed, my dear?
Yes, Robert.
Good night, my love.
Good night.
Sweet dreams, my pet.
You too. Robert,
Yes.
where's Daisy?
She wanted to get her mind off things. She's at the musical.
Well, I suppose there's safety in numbers. Right, Robert?
How many?
One, please.
How many?
One, please.
Extra, extra, read all about it. Blonde killed at musical.
That was a warm and very touching little fable, wasn't it? Naturally, the Avenger was eventually caught, indicted, tried, convicted, sentenced, and paid his debt to society. Although this didn't put an end to the occasional newspaper headline announcing yet another murder of another young blonde woman. And that concludes WBFR Playhouse of the Air's presentation of Vintage Hitchcock. But we have not reached the end of our rope. Next week, you will hear from us again without a shadow of a doubt. Put your suspicions to rest and join us each and every week for what I assure you will be something rich and strange that will leave you spellbound. Until next time, good evening.